Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Oyebola. So this morning we will be talking on the topic, the Scrum Master. So that will be the basis of our presentation. So we'll be looking at who the Scrum Master is, what are the roles and responsibilities of the Scrum Masters, what are the qualities of the Scrum Masters, then who is the product owner, then lastly, we'll be looking at who the development team are. So basically, the product owner, the development team, and the Scrum Master consist of the three roles, that makes up the Scrum team. So without further ado, who is a Scrum Master? So Scrum Masters basically are facilitators of Scrum, right? So we usually call Scrum Masters servant leaders, because as Scrum Masters, you serve the team members and you also lead them at the same time. So that brings us to the concept of servant leader, right? So a Scrum Master does not live by enforcing processes. In a typical organization where you have the hierarchy structure of, you have a manager, you have the lead, you have the officers, and the manager gives orders, right, to the team lead, to the officers, and all of that. So the process is not like that in a Scrum team. So a Scrum Master is not there to enforce process. Instead, it leads by influencing the team. You understand? So he only influences the team. He suggests what should be done, right? He doesn't enforce and say by coercion, you have to do what is it that I am saying. So therefore, a Scrum Master does not have an authority over the team. So it says here, Scrum Masters are the facilitators of Scrum. And of course, we know Scrum is the lightweight framework with a focus on time-box iterations called sprints. So they facilitate all communication and collaboration between the management and development team in the organization. So usually a Scrum Master would be the person that facilitates communication between the management in the organization and development team. So basically, the Scrum Master is the mouthpiece. If the development team needs anything, so it goes through the Scrum Master to say, okay, this is what the team needs this is the kind of support they need to be able to deliver on their project goal, right? So as facilitators, Scrum Masters act as coaches to the rest of the team. The Scrum Master coaches the team, majorly on agile principles and Scrum values, right? So servant leaders as described in the Scrum Guide. So when we pick a copy of the Scrum Guide, we will realize that the Scrum Guide calls the Scrum Master the servant leader, as we have earlier agreed. So as a Scrum Master, you are basically there to guide the team, ensure that they are not overloaded with work, right? And remove any blocker that might slow down the delivery of their work. So there's a whole lot of stuff that a Scrum Master does basically, and but we'll be looking at the ones that we've got on the diagram of this image. So the first is to foster communication. So a Scrum Master is this person that that foster communications amongst the team and between the team and the management of the organization. It ensures a free flow of communication. It ensures that, okay, so every communication, every information that is needed, right, to be passed across to the team is readily available to the team, right? So the Scrum Master is a talker, not just a loose talker, like, a focused talker that, talks to ensure that everything that is meant to be achieved on the team is basically achieved. The second one is protecting the team. So Scrum Master plays a crucial role in protecting the team. So we must start looking at, so what is it protecting the team from? So basically, one of the things the Scrum Master would ideally protect the team from is to ensure that he is protecting them from overcommitting, right? So when they are trying to commit to a sprint, the Scrum Master wants to ensure that the development team or the Scrum team are not overcommitting more than they can deliver, right? So it also protects the team from ensuring that it doesn't allow that it doesn't allow them to be overloaded with work, So in a not healthy environment, a product quickly ship product might say, okay, so these are the story points, or these are the user stories that we are committing to. So it might be more than what the team can deliver. If the Scrum Master is not available, then the voice for the Scrum team to say, oh, we cannot deliver this is then missing. So the Scrum team is to protect them and ensure that they can only commit to what they see to be visible to what they can deliver. And so the third one is tool maintenance. So and it's Jira administration. Ideally, we support the team with tools such as Jira, Azure DevOps, and so you guys hear me?
No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
You have stopped sharing your screen.
Yeah, I got cut off from the call. I wouldn't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm back now. Yeah, so can anyone just let me know the last thing we heard so I can pick up from there? I'm not so sure where.
I think you were talking about the Jira stuff.
Okay, so we're talking about tool maintenance basically. So a Scrum Master would definitely support the team with the tools that are needed to ensure that they carry out their task. So it supports the team with tools like Jira, Azure DevOps, Figma, Balsamiq, etc. So let's say we have a Scrum team now, and a new member joined us. It is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to give access to the necessary tools that this new member will use, right, to deliver, to work, to deliver on his own responsibility, right? And we've got reporting. So it says creating burn down chart velocity, etc. So Scrum Masters are responsible for reporting also. So we can view reporting to just be an overview of the progress the team have made or the team are making. So the Scrum Master will ideally support with the creation of burn down charts, velocity, different graphs basically to measure metrics and progress to the stakeholders, right? So we have meeting facilitation. So ideally, this is the most crucial responsibility of a Scrum Master, right? So a Scrum Master will facilitate the stand-up, the daily stand-up, the daily stand-up, the typical 15-minute daily stand-up that the Scrum team will always have every day at a certain given spot. So yeah, the Scrum Master needs to, to ask, the three necessary questions. So what were the team able to achieve yesterday? What impediment blockers did they face? And what are they, committed to achieving today? Right. So it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to facilitate the stand-ups and of course the ceremonies. Then the Scrum Master also facilitates retrospective, and this is done after a sprint review where we want to talk about how the sprint went, what went well, what didn't go well, and what can we improve on? What are we taking from the last sprint? What lessons did we learn that we are taking into the next sprint? And what basically can we work on to ensure that it doesn't repeat itself? So a whole lot of facilitation goes into this because the Scrum Master wants to ensure that as they progress into new sprint, the sprint keeps getting better, right? The team keep, knowing how to collaborate effectively even more, knowing how to trust each other even the more. So basically, then of course the sprint planning, we all understand what sprint planning is, where we are going into new sprint. The Scrum Master and the Scrum team with the product owner sits together and plan the sprint and take the product backlog items into the sprint item. So every other ceremonies that is done within the Scrum team, it's facilitated by the Scrum Master. Then we've got agile coaching. So it's a one-on-one at the organization level. So basically, it is the duty and responsibility of a Scrum Master to have a one-on-one coaching, basically with the Scrum team, right? You want to coach them on on what agile is. You want to let them understand the mindset. You want them to live Scrum. You want them to follow the Scrum value. You want them to, you want to, foster into them, inculcate into them the Scrum ceremonies and how, it positively affects the delivery of products within the Scrum team, right? Then it said that the next one is team support. Right, so team support, he said, from settling disagreement to coffee runs. Yes, basically, so a Scrum Master will definitely, come in to settle disagreement when the team are having disagreement. So basically, so within the Scrum environment, it's called conflict resolution. You want to ensure that there are resolutions to every form of conflict, because it's very, very, dangerous where we have bad blood within the Scrum team. So the Scrum Master looks into this, ensure that every conflict, is sorted. So he looks out for the elephants in the room and ensure that, so all of these things are tackled. So, but for the coffee runs, so basically, I wouldn't know why this is there. A Scrum Master shouldn't do coffee runs for the development team or so. No, it shouldn't be. So basically, but the Scrum Master ensure that it does all it can to support, the team with everything they need to be, basically successful. And the last one says remove blockers, right? So the Scrum Master remove blockers. So any impediment whatsoever that the team might be facing, it is the duty and responsibility of the Scrum Master to ensure that these blockers are out of the ways of the development team. So we might be wondering, what is a blocker? What is an impediment? So access to a tool can be a blocker. For instance, someone is trying to test a product that they've just built and the testing environment is not available. That is a blocker. So the job of a Scrum Master is to ensure that he creates that environment, literally, right? So because he knows they are building a product and they are getting to the phase whereby they will be testing, and maybe the test environment is really not in shape, he should be talking to the lead developer and ensuring that they are working towards creating an alternative test environment, right? So that they can work according to plan and ship products when necessary, right? Or say someone is trying to get a license to, an access to a license to be able to, complete a particular task. It is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to ensure that this license is readily available so that this person can be able to perform their task. So every of those blockers, right, is what the Scrum Master, looks into. And of course, another example of a blocker could be maybe there's a task that a particular developer is supposed to deliver on, and the Scrum Master looks at this person and know, okay, so this person is a lady and she's obviously pregnant, and her pregnancy is kind of heavy at the moment. So it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to know that. So this is going to be a blocker, because as at the time we should be delivering on this product, this person might just be on our way to making a baby. So the Scrum Master wants to ensure that he provides an alternative developer to work on that product. So if this particular developer is the only developer that can work on that product, so definitely there might be an issue, because that is, so the Scrum Master might want to, ensure that we don't encounter what we call the single point of failure. So before that person gets to that time of making that baby, the Scrum Master wants to ensure that it creates and organizes a class, right? So we call it knowledge transfer. So it brings up another person, then this developer tutor or teaches the knowledge for this person to carry out that responsibility to this person, so that when she is away, another person can step into, right, her shoes and deliver these deliverables. So that's that basically. So next we come to the Scrum Master responsibilities. So what are the responsibilities of the Scrum Master? In the ideal agile world, a team would manage its own processes and tools, right? However, it's been discovered that many teams transitioning to agile rely on the Scrum Master as the owner of their process. It takes time and authority to diffuse through a team. In this transformative context, the role can be as lightweight as scheduling the Scrum ceremonies or as involved as any other Scrum team members. Hence, Scrum Master perform the following roles. Kindly note that this is not an exhaustive list of responsibility. So it coaches a team member. So we earlier established that the Scrum Master coaches a team member. So the Scrum Master ensures that the team is adequately trained to understand and implement agile processes, especially in Scrum. Let's say they are using Scrum, one of agile frameworks. So you want to teach them to live Scrum. You want to teach them to implement Scrum. You want to teach them to understand the Scrum value and follow it strictly, right, within the work environment. So stand-ups, the Scrum Master facilitates daily stand-ups or daily Scrum as needed. However, I think it's worthy to note here that, so when we say the Scrum Master facilitates this and that, so this is highly relevant and encouraged in the early stage of the team, right, where we have the forming stage of the team. So as the Scrum team mature, they should be able to, be independent of their Scrum Master. They should be able to call themselves together and have a meeting without their Scrum Master. They shouldn't wait for their Scrum Master to say, guys, let's go have our stand-up. They should know that, so usually we would have our stand-up for 9:15 a.m. Somebody should facilitate it, not necessarily at the maturity stage that the Scrum Master should start doing all of these things, right? So we talked about iteration sprint planning meeting. So the Scrum Master also facilitates this meeting and protect the team from overcommitting and scope creep. We talked about it during the sprint planning, right? We talked about the Scrum Master ensuring that the team is not overcommitting to what they cannot deliver. And we also talked about the Scrum Master protecting the team from, making the organization to overload the Scrum team with what they think they should deliver. So then it also aids in estimation and sub-task creation. So one of the responsibilities of a Scrum Master is also to, facilitate sprint reviews, he participates in the meeting and capture feedback, right? So he understands everything that is going, he's picking out, all of this information for the sake of documentation, so that every other person that needs to go back to it will go back to it and review. So retrospective, we've already elaborated on retrospective the previous time. So it says notes area for improvement and action for future sprint, of course. Then the Scrum Master removes roadblocks. So Scrum Master aids the team by eliminating external blockers and managing internal roadblocks through process or workflow improvement. So details as needed. So a Scrum Master can be involved in a very detailed decision which determines the solution to a problem, or in a discussion that maps the strategy of an implementation. Regardless of the level of detail, you should be able to switch gear. So a Scrum Master should be flexible, as possible, to be able to, fit in into different circumstances and situation. So a Scrum Master is also a multitasker, right? So he said, assuming an ideal team of 7 plus minus 2. So 7 plus minus 2 in the Scrum team basically means a Scrum team can consist of 7 team members, so plus, or 19 members minus, or 5 team members. So in an ideal Scrum team, is either they are 5, they are 7, or they are 9. So you are responsible for running a machine today and planning tomorrow. So different things that the Scrum Master does while accessing events of yesterday. Add to this mix regulatory and managerial catch-ups and planning for the next sprint and release. You got to be good at juggling and time management. So an essential skill of a Scrum Master is to be able to juggle different responsibilities together and should be an effective time manager, right? So it says gauge importance, right? Rome was not built in a day, but it is key to keep accessing what is important at any given time. So if we are committed to, if a Scrum team is committed to, delivering tasks, so building a product, a Scrum Master wants to identify which product backlog item is of high priority, right? So that is what we mean by gauge importance. You want to look at, okay, so what is important first? What are we looking at first? So a Scrum Master will identify this and ensure that, concentration is given to this user story, this product backlog items, this feature. So I think I was doing an expansive reading yesterday and I came across the word swarming, agile swarming. So agile swarming basically, so we can even talk about agile swarming here. So basically, agile swarming is people coming together, the development team coming together to say, oh, this one single feature or this one single task is the most important, and they are prioritizing it to collaboratively work on it. Right. So it is the duty of the Scrum Master to be able to say, this is what is important at this given time, and they are giving attention to it. So it says prioritizing and managing expectation is important to deliver the best MVP and to maintain good relations. Right. So then light-hearted. Right. So all works and no fun makes a Scrum Master very dull. So a Scrum Master should be able to have fun while they are working. A Scrum Master needs to be able to create an enabling environment for the Scrum team. So, as a Scrum Master, it is your duty and responsibility to relax your team, to make them feel comfortable. So it's not just about the seriousness of the work like at every other time. So at a point, we should understand that human beings are vulnerable. So a Scrum Master understands the vulnerability of human. So outside work, people go through a lot. So it's just a level of emotional intelligence. A Scrum Master take this into consideration and ensure that it makes the workspace fun, it makes it enabling, it makes it easy for people and comfortable for them to thrive in, right? So you want to imagine people coming to work and they are happy because they know that even while they are going to work, they are going to have fun and feel relaxed, like pressure is going to be taken off them. So this is the kind of attitude that a Scrum Master should bring into the system. So he says having fun is not just for you, but also for your team. Just having some time in the sprint where you are not, when your team is not thinking about what can be energizing and rewarding. So imagine getting into a team where we are going to plan our sprint. But before we plan our sprint, we say, okay, so let us play a game, right? Let us play planning poker. Let us play, this kind of game. Let us play, one of those games that we'll just play to, to relax us and make us happy. So that's fun. Right. So people, will get, very interested in doing this. I recall one training I was doing at a particular point in time. And, usually we'll get tired because it was a whole lot of information to sink in at that point. But, our facilitators will just come and say, okay, so it's time for game. And you see people just leap up, you see their faces leap up for joy, everyone is happy. Then we start playing game, we could play game for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And when this person says, let us go back to work, we are readily available to go back to sinking in those information, because why? Tension has been relieved of the system. We are more relaxed to taking new information. So these are the kind of attitude that a Scrum Master should bring into the team. So it says at the same time, no problem is a big problem. So a Scrum Master shouldn't see any problem as a big problem. A cool mind leads to better focus and better problem solving experience. So the last one I believe says problem solver. So like, in fact, if we look at everything we've discussed since morning, I mean, this sums it up. A Scrum Master is a problem solver. It solves problems for people, right? So it says, if you like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, being Scrum Master will be super fun. So basically, as a Scrum Master, people will run to you. People want you to solve their problem. People want you to do this for them. So, excuse me. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, sure. So people want you to, solve their problems and all. So then we move into the Scrum team. So within the Scrum framework, all work delivered to the customer is done by the dedicated Scrum team. A Scrum team is a collection of individuals working together to deliver the requested and committed product increment. A Scrum team consists of 3 roles in the Scrum project, not less, no more, right? We are not allowed to define any other role within the Scrum team because it is harmful to the unity of the team and it doesn't align with Scrum philosophy. So a Scrum team usually will consist of a product owner, a Scrum Master, and a development team. So who is a product owner? The product owner in Scrum methodology is usually a project's key stakeholders, typically someone from marketing or product management, basically, or the lead user of a system. So they have a deep understanding of users, right? Users, the customer, the marketplace, the competitors, and trend. The Scrum Guide stated that the product owner is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the Scrum team. How this is done may vary basically across different organizations, Scrum teams, and individuals. One of their key responsibility is managing the product backlog. So one of the major responsibility of the product owner is creating the product backlog, managing the product backlog, calling the product backlog. So say the prioritized feature list of the product. The Scrum product owner prioritizes work during the sprint planning meeting and motivate the team with clear goals, answering any question. So many times I've had situations, stories about product owners not being around, the Scrum team, blah, 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 all those stuff. But see, it's the responsibility of the Scrum Master to ensure that the product owner and the Scrum team or the developers are collocating, right? They are having conversation, they are coming together, they are answering different kind of, they are feeding the product owner with questions and the product owner is giving answers to these kind of questions that the developers are asking. So the product owner should be closer to the team. It should support the team with everything that the team needs to build a winning product. So the development team decide how much work they can do. We've established this earlier, so no one to influence them to say, or force them to say this is what they should be doing. Taking the items from the top of the product backlog list. And lastly, we have the development team. So what are the characteristics of the development team? To start with, they are self-organizing. No one, not even the Scrum Master, directs development of the development team on how to convert product backlog into increment of potentially released functionality. So like we said, they are self-organizing. They don't need anybody to control them. They don't need anybody to enforce anything on them. They don't need anybody to manage them. They are self-organizing, right? So development team are generally cross-functional. Yeah. So when we talk about development team here, so it says it comprises of members with varied skills. As a team, these combined skill sets are necessary to create a product increment. So basically, when we are talking about development team, we are talking about software engineer, we're talking about software developers, we're talking about solution architect, we're talking about graphic designer, product designer, right? Testers, anything you can just get to mention, they all function as development team. So nobody function in isolation outside the team and say, no, I am a tester, I'm not part of the development team. Whatever it is that you are doing, you are part of the development team. So it says development team member does not have individual titles. We just talked about that. Each member is identified only as a part of the development team, regardless of the work being performed by the person. So Scrum recognizes no sub-team in the development team. Oh no, this is, I'm under the development team. No, you are part of the development team. You are the development team. Although it may be formed of domain like testing, business analyst, operations, architecture, but at the end of the day, they are still all known and recognized as development team. Then lastly, the development team bears accountability of a project, not individual team members. So what this is basically saying is that if the development team succeeds, right, the accolade goes to them and not to one particular guy in the development team and say, oh, it was the product designer that designed the interface where was why we succeeded with this product. No, they don't do it that way in the development, in the Scrum team. So everything is ascribed to the development team. And if the project should go south, the development team takes the blame for it. So thank you very much. I have come to the end of my presentation. So I am open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a very, very in-depth presentation. Thank you. So do we have any question? If we have any question, we can just raise our hand and just ask. Any question? Okay, I have one question actually. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So the question is that though I'm not in the product management or anything like that, so I heard you say something about making the Scrum Master make sure people are not overloaded with work and everything like that. So I just want to ask, there are human deficiency, or how will I say it now? Like, most time, there are people that would have ability to do some things and they pretend as if they cannot do it, just because for them not to put a lot of responsibility on them and stuff like that. And also maybe the Scrum Master has been able to identify that this person has much ability, he has this ability to do a certain thing, but this particular team member is saying, or maybe a member of the development team is saying, I can't do it, and I can. What can the Scrum Master do in this scenario?
All right. Thank you very much for your question. So to start with, as a Scrum team, we don't work in silos. A Scrum team work as a Scrum team. So it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to identify the capacity of everyone on the team. So basically, over time, you know what and every individual on the team can do. So, and usually this situation might really not occur within the Scrum team because we established that the Scrum team collaboratively commits to what they can deliver. So there is a metric, basically, it's called story point, right? So everyone, during the sprint planning, everyone sits down and we are collaboratively committing to what we want to achieve, to the story point. So when we speak with one voice, it is difficult for just one single person to say, okay, all of a sudden, I cannot do this, or I cannot work on this again. So if such a situation should arise, what the Scrum Master would do is to observe first. when he observes and see that, okay, so this person is really not delivering on their assignment or task, then he might have a one-on-one. You definitely will have a one-on-one meeting with the, with this developer or with this fellow, right? So he wants to find out the reason why this person is not delivering. Because if you say this person is not delivering, definitely at a point this person was delivering. Then there was a sudden realization that this person stopped delivering. So you want to understand, ask questions. That's why. So relationship building is very vital, within the Scrum team, especially from the Scrum Master to the Scrum team. So you want to call this person and ask question. Are you okay? Is everything fine? You want to understand what is going on with this person in the home front. Are they facing any challenge? It could be as little as, oh, okay, so my commute time has increased. Maybe this person used to stay in Ikeja before. So from Ikeja, he moves to Yaba, but now he had moved to Songo. So the commute time, there's a difference. So this person now is stuck in traffic. So that is a blocker. So that could be a factor why this person can no longer deliver like he used to. So you want to identify this. And if you realize that, okay, so it's just such an issue, then you want to find a way to, bring about a solution, right? So, but if you realize that, so it is more of the person just, drawing back from the team because they don't want to be responsible, you still want to have another meeting with them. And if you see that there is no improvement, then you want to talk with their lead developer. Right. So you want to have that discussion with their team lead and say, okay, so this is what I have observed about this person, and these are the conversations we've had. Right. So at this point, you want to agree with me that the Scrum Master is not, doing anything wrong to bring these to the notice of this person's manager at the end of the day. Right. I hope that helps.
Very, very, it helps a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I don't know if I have the opportunity to ask one more question.
I have a question.
Okay, Olaoluwa, you can go on.
Hi, Joseph. Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah.
Actually, I have quite a number of questions, but I think I should ask just one. So you talked about the number of people that should be in a team, and the number you gave seems like something that are there to Scrum Alliance, and you also talked about using Scrum Guide. So and there are some other things that seems like they're not exactly the way you said it on Scrum Guide. So I just want to know which are we following or focusing on? Is this Scrum Guide or probably Scrum Alliance or any other one that you know?
Yeah, so basically, you might just want to help me by pointing out these things basically, right? So number one, right? Are we looking at the number of the Scrum team now? Are you there, Olaoluwa?
You come again, I know you.
Yeah, so I said it will be helpful if you are able to, spread out what's really you
Okay. I
about.
can't remember everything, but I think you said talking about the number of people in the team, you were saying 9, 7, and 5, but Scrum Guide, I think says that we can do 10 and fewer number. But I know that there are other Scrum association in that sense, or Scrum body rather, that we say 9 and below. So you just want to know if there is a particular, if you are following Scrum Guide exactly, or you're following and
Well, so basically, my research is not limited to Scrum Guide. So there is Scrum Alliance and every other thing. But for what you just asked, I believe that there was a review of what the number of the team member of Scrum should be. There was a review, I think Scrum Guide 2020 or so. I am not so sure at the minute, but I think I can check back and post something on that review. Right. So if there's any other question, then I can take really.
Is it? No other question.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you very much. That would be the end of that presentation. Thank you. So just before we go, Joseph, you can stop sharing your screen now.
All right.
Yes, thank you. So just before we go, we discovered that so many of us does not really know why we do or how to even do the Bincom Dev Center app process, mirroring everything on the Bincom Dev Center process. I am going to post, I think I'm going to post the link to the process. It has been posted some times ago by Ms. Neka on the KD channel. So I'm just going to quickly post that, and also remind us that we should make sure we mirror the processes as well on the Bincom Dev Center Hub. Thank you very much for joining the session today. See you on Tuesday next week. Thank you.